Here are 10 surprising reasons your car might soon be banned in California. Did you know that over 5 million vehicles in California could be considered illegal to drive within the next 30 days? That is right. A wave of new laws is about to hit the streets in 2026. And if your car does not meet these rules, you could be facing massive fines, denied registration, or even a total ban from California roads. And the worst part is that most drivers have no idea it is coming. This is not some far-off policy. These are real changes backed by laws that have already been passed and scheduled to take effect starting this year. From gas car bans and strict smog checks to new rules about modifications, EV charging, and even insurance eligibility, California is sending a clear message. Drive clean or do not drive at all. So before you take your next trip, you need to ask yourself, is my car still legal in California? Stick around because in this discussion, we are uncovering 10 surprising reasons your car might soon be banned and what you can do to stay ahead of the law. Reason 1, no more gas cars for sale. Imagine walking into a dealership in just a few months looking to buy a brand new gas-powered car and being told you cannot. That is not a hypothetical scenario. It is part of California's aggressive plan to eliminate gas car sales. And the countdown has already begun. Starting in 2026, California will enforce a major rule. 35% of all new cars sold must be zero-emission vehicles. That means electric, hydrogen, or plug-in hybrids. By 2035, that number will climb to 100%. But the 2026 target is the first big wall drivers are going to hit. If you are still planning to buy a traditional gas car in the next year or two, your options are about to shrink dramatically. Some dealerships may stop offering them altogether to avoid state penalties. And here is what most people miss. While this law technically targets car sales, it will absolutely impact ownership too. With fewer gas cars on the market, maintenance costs will go up, insurance premiums could rise, and resale values may tank. Not to mention, if you are driving a gas car that does not meet California's latest emission standards, you could be flagged during smog checks, even if your car is just a few years old. So what can you do? Start planning your next vehicle upgrade now. Look into hybrids or EVs that are CARB compliant, meaning approved by the California Air Resources Board, and do not wait until the last minute when demand spikes. Even if you love your gas car, knowing the deadlines can help you make smarter choices and avoid being stuck with a vehicle that is suddenly unsellable or uninsurable in California. Reason 2, stricter smog checks could fail your car instantly. Think your car is safe just because it runs fine? Think again. Starting in 2026, California's smog check system is getting a serious upgrade, and it could spell bad news for older cars and even some newer ones. Under the updated program, California will fully implement the BARO-IS system, which means your car's computer is now the smog inspector. This onboard diagnostic inspection system connects directly to your car's internal systems and automatically flags even small emission issues like a faulty sensor, minor exhaust leaks, or something as simple as a check engine light. Before, a mechanic might overlook a minor issue if your tailpipe emissions were clean. Not anymore. If that light is on, even if your car feels fine, you could fail the smog check instantly. And failing that test is not just annoying. It could mean you cannot legally drive or register your car until it is fixed. The repairs can cost hundreds, even thousands of dollars, especially for older models where replacement parts are harder to find. What is worse, some cars will be flagged as gross polluters and may not be allowed back on the road at all unless expensive upgrades are made. So what should you do? If your vehicle is over 8 years old, get a pre-check now before this rule fully kicks in. Many auto shops offer diagnostic services that can warn you in advance. Fixing small issues now can save you from big headaches later. Bottom line, do not wait until your registration gets denied. These smog rules are about to become a lot less forgiving, and your car might not make the cut. Reason 3, modified cars could become illegal overnight. If you have ever modified your car to make it louder, faster, or more aggressive looking, this one could hit close to home. Starting in 2026, California is tightening the rules on aftermarket car modifications, and thousands of vehicles could suddenly become illegal to drive, even if they have been on the road for years. The biggest target is non-approved performance parts. California law already requires many modifications to be approved by the California Air Resources Board, but enforcement is about to get much stricter. That means exhaust systems, cold air intakes, engine tunes, turbo upgrades, and even some cosmetic mods can now trigger violations if they do not meet updated emissions and noise standards. A mod that was ignored before could now fail inspection instantly. Here is where it gets serious. If your car is pulled over and flagged, you could face fines over $1,000, be ordered to remove the parts, and in some cases, your vehicle can be labeled state ref, forcing a special inspection that is expensive, stressful, and hard to pass. For repeat violations, your car could be deemed non-road legal until fully restored to stock. And it is not just street racers. Everyday drivers with aftermarket exhausts or older dealer-installed mods are getting caught off guard. Police and inspection stations now have digital databases that instantly verify whether a part is legal or not. No guessing, no warnings. So what can you do? Check every major modification on your car and make sure it has a CARB executive order number. If it does not, consider replacing it before 2026. Keeping your receipts and documentation can also save you during inspections. In California's new rule book, looking cool is not enough anymore. Your mods must be fully legal or your car could be sidelined fast. Reason 4: diesel trucks are getting banned. If you drive a diesel truck in California, especially for work or business, you need to listen closely because as of 2026, your vehicle might be banned from the road, even if it runs perfectly. Under the state's Advanced Clean Fleets rule, California is beginning a sweeping crackdown on diesel-powered trucks over 14,000 pounds. This includes box trucks, delivery vans, work trucks, and even privately owned commercial vehicles. These changes do not just affect big corporations. They hit independent contractors, small business owners, and anyone using a diesel workhorse to earn a living. Starting January 1, 2026, certain diesel trucks will be prohibited from registering with the California DMV if they do not meet the zero-emission standards or are not part of an approved phase-out plan. That means your truck could be parked for good, regardless of how reliable it is. Even newer diesel trucks may be affected if they do not align with California's zero-emission vehicle transition timeline. And here is the catch. Many truck owners do not even know this is coming. With over 1 million diesel trucks operating in California, this law could sideline hundreds of thousands of vehicles, causing a ripple effect on deliveries, small businesses, and even local services. So what should you do? First, check your truck's gross vehicle weight rating and verify its emission status with the California DMV or CARB website. If your truck falls in the danger zone, you may qualify for state grants or buyback programs to help you transition to a cleaner vehicle. This is not just a regulation, it is a forced retirement for thousands of diesel trucks. And if you are not ready, you could lose more than your vehicle. You could lose your income. Reason 5. EV battery disposal laws carry heavy penalties. Electric vehicles might be the future, but they come with a new kind of responsibility. Starting in 2026, California is cracking down on EV and hybrid battery disposal, and failure to follow the rules could lead to hefty fines or even criminal charges in some cases. Here is the issue. EV batteries contain hazardous materials like lithium, cobalt, and nickel. When these batteries reach the end of their life, they cannot just be tossed in the trash or dropped off at a regular recycling center. Under new state regulations, all EV and hybrid battery disposal must go through state-certified facilities, and owners are expected to keep documentation proving proper disposal. Why is this such a big deal? A single EV battery, if mishandled, can leak toxic chemicals, explode, or cause environmental contamination. That is why California is placing strict accountability on both individuals and auto shops. Even if you sell your EV for parts or junk it, you are still responsible for making sure the battery is handled legally. So what does this mean for you? If you own an EV or hybrid, start by checking your vehicle's battery health. If it is nearing the end of its life, contact a licensed EV recycler or dealership certified by CARB or CalRecycle. Always request a disposal receipt and keep it in your records just in case you are ever audited or questioned. Bottom line, EVs might save you on gas, but mishandling the battery can cost you far more. In California's push for clean energy, what you do after your battery dies is just as important as how you drive. Reason 6, SB 210 makes smog checks mandatory for trucks. If you drive a diesel truck in California, this next law could completely change how you operate. It is called SB 210, and it is being rolled out as California's first ever smog check program for heavy-duty diesel vehicles starting in 2026. This law will require thousands of trucks, from delivery rigs to long-haul semis, to pass strict emissions monitoring every year. Here is how it works. Instead of just getting a smog check during registration, your truck will be tracked continuously through onboard diagnostic data. That means if your engine is polluting more than it should, even slightly, your vehicle could be flagged, and you might be barred from registration or fined until the issue is fixed. And we are not just talking about older clunkers. Even relatively new diesel trucks are being pulled into this system. If your emission system is tampered with, malfunctioning, or not up to standard, you are at risk. Repeat violations could even lead to your vehicle being permanently removed from operation in California. So what should truck owners do? First, check if your truck is already required to enroll in the Clean Truck Check program on the California DMV website. If it is, make sure your OBD system is functional and that you are up to date on emissions maintenance. There are even approved telematic systems that can help you stay compliant in real time. The days of skipping a smog check because you are driving a big rig are over. With SB 210, California is making it crystal clear. If your truck pollutes, it parks. Reason 7, outdated clean air stickers mean no more carpool lane. Think you are saving time with that green or white clean air vehicle decal on your car? Think again. Starting in 2026, California is revamping its clean air vehicle program. And if your sticker is expired or does not meet the latest standards, you could lose access to HOV carpool lanes, even if you drive a hybrid or EV. Many drivers are unaware that CAV decals come with expiration dates. If your sticker was issued in 2019 or earlier, it is already invalid. And with new laws coming into play, even cars that once qualified might be disqualified based on updated emission and efficiency requirements. That means your daily commute could suddenly get a lot longer and more expensive if you are relying on those lanes for work. This law is all about pushing the cleanest tech forward. California wants to reward only the most efficient and lowest emitting vehicles with carpool access. So older plug-in hybrids and even some EVs may no longer make the cut. And if you are caught using the lane without a valid decal, the fines can range from $490 to over $1,000. What should you do? Check your current decal's expiration date and review the CAV eligibility list on the California DMV website. If your vehicle still qualifies, you can apply for a new sticker. But do not wait. The closer we get to 2026, the more backlogged these applications are likely to become. Bottom line, that little sticker on your bumper might seem small, but in California traffic, it is a big deal. Make sure yours is current, or you might find yourself stuck in the slow lane, literally. Reason 8, insurance may get more expensive or denied. Here is something most drivers do not see coming. Your car insurance could go up or be denied altogether if your vehicle does not meet California's 2026 compliance standards. That is right. Insurance companies are now factoring vehicle emissions and legal compliance into their risk calculations, and it could hit your wallet hard. As California ramps up enforcement of smog regulations, illegal modifications, and emissions violations, insurers are taking notice. If your car is flagged during registration, fails a smog check, or has a history of non-CARB approved parts, you may be labeled as a high-risk driver, even if you have never had an accident. Some insurance providers are even starting to decline coverage for vehicles that cannot legally be registered or driven in the state. Why? Because from their point of view, a non-compliant vehicle is a financial risk. If your car cannot be legally driven, it is more likely to be involved in claims related to impoundments, fines, or regulatory issues. And that risk gets passed on to you in the form of higher premiums or outright policy cancellations. So what can you do? If you are not sure whether your car is fully compliant, talk to your insurance agent now. Ask if your vehicle's modifications, emissions history, or registration status could affect your premium in 2026. You might also want to request a vehicle compliance report from the DMV to stay ahead of the curve. In short, even if you love your car and drive it safely, the law is changing and the insurance industry is watching. Make sure your ride does not just pass inspection, it passes the insurance test too. Reason 9. New restrictions on self-driving and semi-autonomous cars. Do you drive a Tesla, Rivian, or any vehicle with autopilot, lane assist, or self-driving features? Then pay close attention because starting in 2026, California is rolling out new rules for autonomous and semi-autonomous vehicles, and failing to comply could lead to registration blocks or even legal action. As these vehicles become more common, California lawmakers are putting stricter oversight and accountability in place. That means if your car has features like adaptive cruise control, auto park, or lane centering tech, you will now be required to have updated software logs, functioning safety features, and in many cases, proof of human oversight during operation. If your system is outdated or operating outside of approved settings, your car could be flagged as unsafe. This is not just about full self-driving cars. Even partial automation features like Tesla's autopilot or Ford's Blue Cruise fall under these new guidelines. Vehicles must also be able to record and store driving data, which law enforcement or the DMV may request after an incident. If your car lacks these capabilities, it may be considered non-compliant for California roads. So what should you do? Make sure your vehicle's software is always up to date and keep documentation showing that updates were installed. If you are using beta versions of self-driving tech, be cautious. Those might not be approved under California's new laws. Review your manufacturer's compliance with California DMV autonomous vehicle regulations. The future may be autonomous, but California wants to make sure it is also safe and accountable. If your smart car is not following the new rules, it could end up parked for good. Reason 10. Home EV charging could be illegal without a permit. You might think installing an EV charger at home is as easy as plugging it into your wall, but in California, starting in 2026, doing it without a permit could actually be illegal. That is right. As part of the state's push for clean and safe energy use, new housing and electrical codes will make unpermitted home charging setups a violation of state law. The reason is that EV chargers draw a lot of power, and when they are installed incorrectly, they can cause overloads, fires, or even damage the power grid. California's updated Title 24 Energy Code now requires that any Level 2 home charger, typically used for overnight charging, must be installed by a licensed electrician and permitted through your local building department. And here is the catch. If your home setup is not permitted and something goes wrong, your insurance may not cover the damage. Worse, you could be fined by the city or even forced to remove the charger entirely, especially if it is discovered during a property inspection, home sale, or renovation. So what should EV owners do? If you have already installed a home charger, check your records to see if it was permitted and inspected. If you are planning to install one, make sure you go through the official process. Hire a certified electrician, file for a permit, and get the final inspection. It might cost a little more upfront, but it could save you from massive fines and safety risks later. In California's future, going electric is not just about saving the planet. It is about following every rule in the book, even at home. Conclusion: time to take action before it is too late. So after hearing all 10 reasons, how safe is your car really? For millions of drivers in California, the answer might be not very. From stricter smog checks and diesel bans to mod restrictions, EV rules, and even insurance complications, 2026 is shaping up to be a make-or-break year for car owners. But here is the good news. You still have time, but not much time. Most of these changes do not officially kick in until later this year, which means you have got a window, a short one, to make sure your vehicle is legal, compliant, and ready to hit the road without risking fines, failed inspections, or worse, losing the ability to drive it altogether. Take this as your warning and your opportunity. Start checking your smog records. Review your vehicle modifications. Confirm your EV charging setup. And if you are unsure, talk to your local DMV or mechanic. A little preparation now can save you a lot of stress and money later. Drive safe, stay informed, and remember, 2026 is not far away.